Hello, and you're very welcome to the third instalment of
Cro Mag Anory
Issue 9 this month, brought to you by This Was Meant to Be a One-Time Thing Productions. Our first segment this week is Editor-in-Chief. Now, our Editor-in-Chief is Ed Aitor from Chief, a small commuter town outside of a larger commuter town. His father was the local schoolmaster, Mr. Educational Purposes, known to his students as, "Oh no, he's coming." At the age of 18, a young Educational Purposes took his mother's maiden name, Aitor. She asked for it back, but for it back was on a call. A call asked him to get off, but him to get off wasn't listening, because listening was another person entirely. The original person entirely had left Listening the Mantle. Listening the Mantle was distraught to learn that person entirely had abandoned her in her hour of need. Her in her hour of need is the child they share together. Mr. Aitor pictured here on the day of his first communion. And we move on to Be Still, My Hard Drive. I was lost in love, adrift in a sea of solemnity. The only thing colder than my empty soul was the other half of the bed. I yearned for years, but earned only tears. I'd speed dated and been speed dumped, written to lonely hearts and found none as lonely as mine. My last resort took me to lastresort.com, a website for people with nothing left to care for, but just want someone to share it with. Months went by, followed by tumbleweeds. But that's when it hit me. What had been there for me when I signed up online? What helped me draft my letters to agony aunts? What reacted to every touch we shared? I input, you output. We're totally simpatico. I've been such a fool. Your smooth, polished edges, the way you purr on my lap, your 18-inch retina display, your disk drive. I stopped asking what's an update and started asking, what's up? Date? It's not USB stick. It's us be sticking together. I used my computer to help me find love, but love helped me find my computer. And now it's time for headlines, deadlines, guidelines and punchlines with the news board team. Thank you. Top story tonight, Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl were denied the right to appeal the rejected patent for a new business venture, with the residing judge expressing concern over the complicated legalities, confusing practicalities and questionable necessity of a Nirvana-themed veterinary surgery called In Utero. Over to my close colleague Sid Too Close for sport. Sid.
Thanks, Blint. In sport, you can watch single-channel music recording face off against returning champion Glandular Fever in the boxing event of the evening. Yes, Mono and Mono are going mano a mano. Back to you, Blint.
Thank you. And in music, country singer Tony Tendermeat announced and celebrated his elopement with court-mandated therapist Sandra Buxom by releasing the new single Get Out of My Head and Into My Bed.
Get out of my head and into my bed.
The autobiographical nature of the track continues the pattern set by his previous single, detailing his abandonment of a homeopathic sea plant-based diet in favour of genuine psychological aid. Fuck this kelp, get me some help.
Fuck this kelp, get me some help.
Both will feature on his new album Drinking and Driving Down the Road to Recovery, due to be released along with his tax returns on the 21st of July 2020. This will be Mr. Tendermeat's 14th release on Tillamook County Records and will coincide with his 14th release from Tillamook County Jail. And that's all from Newsboard. And now it's time to resume Jet Blonde's adventure through space and time signatures.
Jet Blonde. Jet Blonde. Sci-fi.
Meanwhile, at the O3 Academy in Space Birmingham, Mike Thorough, Jet Blonde's diligent and painfully pedantic sound man, was setting up the mics.
1, 2, 1, 2.
He said, testing the response and volume.
1, 2, 1, 2.
He continued.
1, 2.
He repeated.
1, 2, 1, 2.
He repeated again, even though it sounded exactly the same and nothing had changed.
1, 2.
This too was said in a special way, with a smug sibilant designed to test the patience of everyone in the building. Moving on to our final segment, it's our second adventure in the first dimension. Navigating adolescence is hard enough, but it's even harder when you're a one-dimensional character like our hero, 1D Flatline. With the trials and tribulations of living life on the line, literally, everything in his way, and no concept of vertical or diagonal movement, 1D tries to triumph against his geometric limitations. 1D gets in Harm's way. 1D, out of the way. Oh, sorry, Harm. And that concludes issue 9 of Cro Mag Anory.
I see food, I eat it, but that seafood can beat it.
Somebody lied.
There are cars there, motherfucker! Get out of the way!